Hi and welcome. My name is Vanessa Michielon. This Vinyasa flow is dedicated to creating space and fluidity in our shoulders, our chest and our back. This is a great way to start the day in the best way, or maybe you can use this practice to end your day and prepare for a good night of sleep. We will work through gentle heart opening postures. So if your back is sensitive, please listen to your body and maybe adjust. I also suggest we use some bricks to bring the floor closer to us and maybe to adapt in a way that we can get the most out of the practice. I invite you to sit in any comfortable position. You can cross your legs, kneel, or sit on a block. And give yourself time to ground through the sit bones and float up to the crown of the head. So create space in your spine right away. From here, start lifting your arms in front of you with a soft touch of the fingers. Bring your arms overhead and then bend the elbows like a cactus and maybe open your chest. And again, your fingertips come to the floor behind you. You're circling your arms forward and up. Feel the length through the front body and then bend the elbows like a cactus, pull them backwards and reach your fingertips as backwards as you can. And twice more, breathing in to rise forward. Exhale, project your chest forward and pull the elbows back. And last time, fingertips brush the floor, lift. Bend through the elbows. Now bring your fingertips towards the back of your space. Spin the fingertips to face the back and move into a soft cat and cow. So move your pubic bone downwards, arch through your back and then float with the chest. As you exhale, soften your elbows, curl your tailbone under and round your back to an intensity that feels comfortable for you. Again, breathe in, press from the fingertips, stick the tailbone back, gently arch through the spine. And as you exhale again, curl your back, lean backwards onto the fingertips. Let's go twice more. Inhale. And then soften, chin to chest, broaden your sacrum. One last time. Inhale to open. And as you exhale, gently curl your back. Good. From here, return all the way back up straight with the spine. Move your feet into a soft butterfly. So move your feet as forward as you need to have space or close to you. Catch your shins or your ankles. And once again, we take the same pelvic tilt. So we're breathing to puff the chest forward. And as you exhale again, curl your tailbone under. Allow your head to release and really broaden the upper back. And again, press, elbows pull back, chest forward. And then extend your arms completely and see if you can create even more spaciousness in between the shoulder blades. Only one more like this. Breathe in, rock onto the hips, and then curl. Now pose back into your center. We move into a twist. So feel free to get your feet closer if you want on the stage. Lengthen through the spine and twist up and over to your left. You can use your hands on your feet or maybe around the knee. Lengthen through your back and rotate your left shoulder backwards a bit more. And depending on the state of your body, maybe you just twisting through the shoulders and you allow the belly button to face the front. Take one extra breath to lengthen through your neck and then slowly return to center and take it to the other side. So lengthen and spin using maybe the push of the fingertips against your toes or your knee. Keep the other hand very close to you so it is much easier to maintain the spine perpendicular to the floor and then wrap the right shoulder back. So focus more on your shoulders rather than a very, very strong twist through the belly. And then make your way all the way back into the middle. We move into a tabletop position on hands and knees. I suggest you take your legs a little bit backwards and your hands a bit forward so you got more space. And start keeping the shins quite wide open, moving the weight of your body forward, so supercharging your arms, and then rocking the hips back until maybe the belly lowers towards the floor. So this is a sort of a child's pose with the arms long. And again, shift the weight forward. You choose how far you go and then go back. And if this feels comfortable on your back, as you go forward, you can kind of ripple through the spine and then move the hips slightly to the front of the space. And then you lift the hips back and up to return into child's pose. This is your linear movement. If you wish to come with me in a circle, you can ripple forward to your kind of soft upward facing dog. And then you move your hips up and over to one side. You circle them back towards your feet. and you take them around the world on the other side. And as you move into a circle, I just invite you to keep spontaneity in the spine. So allow your head, your shoulders, your hips to move and open. And then soften your elbows, soften your wrists, so you can become very asymmetrical in this movement. You don't have to keep everything straight, but you can really explore what happens when you roll the shoulders back, when you shift a bit more of the weight on one side, when one of your ears lowers to the floor more than the other one. And I'll start circling the other way around. So really begin this practice by finding fluidity and freedom in your body, also in your self-expression. You can close your eyes if this helps you get a little bit more internal. Good, and take this one last time, circling. From there, we push back into a wider downward facing dog. So tuck your toes, press the hips backwards and lift them up to the sky. And from here, truly energize your arms and start slowly walking on the spot. So one heel lowers and then the other one. And maybe your hips keep on twisting side to side. Chest moves towards your feet. And then slowly, if that's available, bring your feet a little closer towards the midline of your body. So it's more of a kind of standard downward facing dog, if that's comfortable. Otherwise, you keep your legs wide. And then begin to walk your feet to the front of the space, keeping your head really heavy. From there, as you arrive in your forward fold, soften again your belly in between your legs. Maybe turning your toes out if at this stage this feels more comfortable. And taking a gentle nodding through the head, saying yes, saying no. Maybe again, shifting the hips side to side. If your hands are off the floor, you can allow the upper body to kind of sway right and left. If your fingers are touching the floor, equally you can brush them right and left with a sense of letting go of hanging the spine from the hips. And then slowly pose into the middle, keep your head and your arms heavy and start rolling through your spine to come all the way back up to stand. Lift your arms overhead, breathing in. And as you exhale, interlock your fingers. And then once again, press your arms up to the sky. Legs can be as wide, as narrow as you like. Maintain length through the arms and then tilt up and over to one side. Stretch your top arm and maybe spin the shoulder slightly to the ceiling and then come back into the middle and take it to the other side. Really using the opposition of the other foot to create more length in the top arm. And now you can keep on going side to side in your own rhythm, or we take a circle. So we tilt, and then we tilt so much that we kind of have to curl and move towards one foot. And then we release the spine into the middle. We turn around to the other side. And again, push the floor away to stretch the other arm and reverse. Let's take this one more time if it feels good. Tilt. Soften. As soon as you need to soften, releasing your head into the middle. Circling the other way around. And pushing back and up. Good. Let's release the arm just for a second and then lift them up and cross maybe the opposite thumb on top. Again, feel free to go side to side. Otherwise, we take a couple of circles in the opposite direction. Tilting as much as you can and then soften through your knees and the hips to lower and then circle the other way around. And one last time. If you feel dizzy, this can be quite normal. So take a moment just to pause standing. We will join you in a moment. Okay, as you return back into center, release your arms. Take just a couple of shoulder rolls. And then placing your hands at the center of your heart, find a way to the front of the mat and bring your legs to a stance that feels comfortable. Towards the end stages of pregnancy, we may have to widen a lot. If you feel comfortable keeping your feet under your hips, that's also fine. When you're ready, breathe in and rise up. As you exhale, soften through your knees and fold. Fingertips can come to the floor, to your shins or to your blocks. Now lengthen through the crown of your head, plug in your shoulders down the back, and then step back into a plank. Plank is an option, or you lower your knees down to the floor. Check how your body is doing right now. Take one more breath in your plank or supported plank And then bend the elbows, chaturanga, elbows coming close to the chest. Puff the chest forward into your cobra. And then tuck your toes, lift back and up, downward facing dog. Stay there, directing your heels behind your toes, always opening your feet as wide as you need to make space for your belly. And then slowly bend your knees, keep the head heavy, walk all the way to the front of your space. Soften again your knees, lift the arms up, and bring your hands at the center of your heart. We take twice more, exactly the same. Breathe in, rise, maybe add on a little back bend. Exhale, release everything down. Breathe in, project the crown of your head forward, flat back. Exhale, strong hands on the floor, plank or knees to the ground. Spread your fingers. When you feel ready, bend the elbows. Soft movement of the chest forward. Push back, downward facing dog. And each time you visit this pose, again, check in with your breath. If anything feels too intense, you take your breaks whenever you need them. Walk all the way to the front of your space. Again, soften your knees, rise up. Hands at the center of your heart. One last round, breathe in. Let your head release completely, forward fold. Shift the weight slightly forward to elongate your spine. And then step back to your plank or knees to the floor. Shift, keep your neck long. When you move forward with the chest, try to gently hug the baby. And then lift the hips back and up, downward facing dog. We stay into downward facing dog and we begin to introduce a standing flow. So strong arms. Shift the weight a bit more on your left foot and pick up your right leg up straight into a split dog. So the hips are twisting. Both arms are as straight as you can make them. And really push down with the left heel. Let your right leg float up. Take a step with your right foot forward, Crescent Lunge. So you can also open your leg a little wider if you need it. And then reach your arms up to the sky. Square your hips and your shoulders and soften your tailbone down to the floor. If you wish to circle the arms, you can either take them with the fingertips pointing towards your sacrum, elbows hugging, or you interlock your fingers, squeeze your chest a bit more. An option to introduce a back bend, again, lifting the chest. Focus more in the back bend in the upper part. So we keep maybe the center of the torso a bit more contained, but we really try to widen the collarbones and feel the work in your thoracic spine. Now, warrior three, shift the head forward. Keep your hands where they are if you wish, or take them to prayer. Begin to pick up the back leg, transferring the weight forward. And your leg can be low, can be high. If you need to use a wall, you can place your hands on a wall or on a chair. Maybe flex the back toes and really energize your arms, energize your back. Step now your foot backwards. Move into a warrior two. So open your arms, allow the stance to be as big as short as you need it. So right now the ligaments may be quite loose, so if you need to restrict the pose, just keep your feet a bit closer towards each other. Reverse your warrior, so the front arm, the right comes forward, and then you're tilting sideways. Keep on wrapping your right knee out. Back leg is absolutely strong and pushes the floor away. Option to catch your top wrist and tilt a little deeper to the side. And if you notice postural changes, maybe the lower back is quite arched. See if you can soften the lower back, soften the hips. Now extend the front leg for a moment. Release the grip if you have it. We begin to circle the top arm and move again the front leg. So tilt a lot to the side, rebend the front leg, and then circle the arm down. And then stretch your arm all the way to the front of your space. And then use the action of lifting of the arm to re-extend the front leg and reach again sideways. So we coordinate lower body, upper body. Bend the front leg, round the spine, maybe look down. Stretch as much as you can to the front and then push from the front foot, rise up. Take a stretch and once again, rebend the knee. This movement can be as small, as big as you like. Again, don't be surprised if you wobble more than usual. That's our center of gravity changing quite a lot right now. Take this one last time. Good, push the floor away. And then from here, spin the toes of both feet facing the side of your space. Lift both arms up to the sky, breathe in. And as you exhale, soften through your knees, a forward fold. I suggest you walk your hands slightly forward or your feet slightly backwards. So you kind of arrive in a situation where your heels are under your hips and your hands are under your shoulders. And do use your blocks if you want to. We take a couple of cat and cows here. So breathe in, stick the tailbone back, maybe look forward. And as you exhale, curl your back as much as you can and release your head. And again, breathe in. Your legs can be bent or straight. Lift the chest, stick the tailbone back. And exhale, again, release your head. So keep going. If you're using your blocks, obviously, you can keep a little bit extra space between your chest and the floor. You still can maintain your knees bent, push, open the chest, and then soften your head down. Take this one more time. Focus on fluidifying your spine into extension, into flexion. And the last time you drop your head, that's where you can stay. You can keep your hands on your blocks. You can catch your ankles if you like. You can keep your arms floppy. Again, go back to the sensation of your spine hanging from your hips. And if there is any extra micro movement you want to take here, go for it. Free your body, intuitively moving in a way that feels really nourishing for you today. All right, from here, slowly walk your fingertips towards your front foot to the right. Take your time to lower your back knee down. We move into half split. So you're walking your right foot maybe a bit more diagonally out to give yourself space. Feel free to use a block or two. And then wiggle your toes until you get a decent stretch into the right leg, right hamstrings. Maybe flex and point through your toes. Slow down your breath. When we go upside down, we may feel that rush of energy because the heart has to work a little bit harder when we are upside down. And then flex your toes. And then if you want, again, lengthen through your back to prepare and fold. So we take a couple of breaths in this open Ardha Anumanasana. And we invite again our breath to slow down. Come into a place that is really compassionate and kind to your joints, especially if you feel quite a lot of instability due to relaxing right now. Maybe you want to back off a little bit. You don't want to go to 100% of your positions and sensations. When you're ready, take your hands strong under your shoulders, move your leg backwards, and refine your downward facing dog. Lift the hips up. You can stay still or you can move through Vinyasa. Knees can lower if you want. Move slowly, mindfully, no rush. We meet back into downward facing dog. Okay, from downward facing dog, you're still facing the front of your space. Begin to pick up your left leg straight. That's your split dog. Left leg goes up. Spin the hips. Try and keep your arms strong and straight. And really push the right heel down to the floor. You can look under your left armpit. Push, push, push from your hands. And then take a big step forward with your left foot. Crescent Lunge. Your hands rise up. Again, give yourself permission to open up the stance more so your hips feel more comfortable. And then circle the arms, fingertips come to the lower back, or you can interlock your fingers and open the chest. Keep deepening your breath, maybe sink a little deeper with the hips. If you wish, lift up through the chest and add a gentle back bend. Focus on the upper part of the spine. Warrior 3, shift the head forward. Move the weight on the front leg and then pick up the back leg any amount. Maybe it's a low one, maybe it's in line with the rest of the spine. Maybe flex your toes. If you have a chair, you want to use a wall, go for it. If you want to place your hands to prayer, you prefer, that's perfectly fine. Step your right foot back. We open to Warrior 2. Widen your stance if this feels good on your joints, or keep it gentle and soft. Stretch your left arm forward, reverse your warrior. So maintain your back leg really strong. As your left fingertips reach the back of the space, your left knee still pointing forward and wrapping out. Maybe catch your wrist And project your spine away from the hips a bit more. Quieten your breath. Extend the front leg. Take your time now to start the circle. So your right arm comes down to the side of the leg. You're going to circle the arm towards the back foot. You look down and then bend the front leg and stretch as if you wanted to touch something to the very front of your space. Then push from the foot, lift up, and extend again. And we keep on going. So can you make it a full body thing? So you're circling the arm. At the same time, your lower body is preparing into the warrior. Then you're leaning forward and then you push like you're throwing something in the air behind you. And again, big circle. Release your head as much as you can. Take it all the way up. Let's go for one more big circle. Circle the arm forward. And as you arrive all the way back and up, extend your front leg. Extend both arms above the head. Spin the toes to face the same direction. Once again, bend through the knees and fold like a swan dive. Fingertips can come slightly in front of you, directly on the floor, or you can use your blocks. And this time we take a little Skandasana preparation. So keep your 10 toes pointing forward, feet on the floor. Bend one of your knees actually, whatever knee you want. Keep the other leg straight. Walk your fingertips away from the bent knee and stretch as much as you can that side of the body that is exposed. And then come back into the middle. And then bend the other knee, keeping the other leg straight and the outstep of the foot on the floor. If it feels good, walk your fingertips away from the bent knee and stretch all the side of the spine. You can use your blocks for sure. You can close your eyes and pull the hips away from your fingertips. We take this one more each side. So breathing in, I'm going to use the blocks for the next one. Bend one knee. Take your blocks or your fingers in opposition and pull. Pull the hips away from the fingertips. And last time up, bend. And then again, if it feels good, stretch sideways. All right, we make our way to the front of the mat. So bring the block with you if you need it. Walk your fingertips, turn to face the front, half split. Your back hip on top of the bottom knee. The left foot goes sideways, so you have more space. And if you're using your blocks again, you can use them high stance or low stance. Take a couple of flexions and pointing into the foot. Open the back of your calf and your hamstrings. And then once you feel a decent stretch into the leg, pause and maybe open across the chest and then lower down. Again, no need to use your blocks if they are not necessary for you. Gently draw the left hip backwards if you want to intensify this work and try and soften the back of your neck. Now again, hands in line with your foot, bring your knee backwards. You can come to a plank, you can stay on your knees, you can skip the vinyasa or take it, your choice. We will meet into a soft child's pose. So you can take your feet together, knees nice and wide, and then allow the hips to drop back, the belly to fit in between the knees and the forehead to rest. And this is a great place where you can stay longer. If you're happy to work on your back a little bit more, we're shifting to puppy pose. So we come forward and readjust again the shins into a parallel position. Try and keep your hips on your knees. Then walk your hands wide. And then either keep your arms straight. Again, if your joints feel comfortable, you can do that and soften the chest. Otherwise, you can lower your elbows. You can even make a pillow for your head. So your fingertips come towards each other. Rest your head. But you're basically maintaining your hips higher than your heart. And you try to lower your chest to stretch your armpits. Feel free to turn your head to one side if you find this more comfortable. And take your time to unwind, to pull the tailbone backwards as your arms come forward. A little thoracic spine opening. And from there, slowly make your way back and up. And then let's find a way to sit. We move into an open twist into seated. So maybe let's mirror each other. Gonna bring your right knee under and your left foot crosses on the side of your knee, your hips find the floor. If the volume of the belly is makes this a bit uncomfortable, I suggest you cross your legs. So either left foot on the side of your knee, hips pulling down, or simple cross-leg position. From wherever you are, let's take an open twist. So keep your hips heavy, lift to the spine, and spin away from the top knee. You can keep your hand on your shin, use your other hand behind you, and really lift up tall. If this feels comfortable, fingertips come slightly further forward, and you begin to round your back, dropping your head. It doesn't have to be very big. So maybe it's just literally the chin dropping to the chest. But if you really pull the left hip down and you allow the spine to curl up and over, you may feel some delicious stretch in your upper back. Same idea if your legs are crossed. You can gently release your head and allow the left hip to plug down. Take one more breath where you are. And then slowly come back and up. And we change the leg. So left knee under, right foot on the side of the knee. Allow the hips to settle. Try and keep the big toe on the floor, or again, cross your legs. And then lift through the spine and move your chest where you have space. You can take your hand inside of your shin, use the back fingertips to press and lift your spine up. And then again, rotate through your shoulders. You can stay upright or begin to look downwards. And even take your hands slightly further forward, but allow that right hip to counterbalance. And enjoy a couple of slow breaths. Same idea with the legs crossed. May give you extra opening here for the spine to twist. Good. Slowly find your way to come back into center. Take your feet again together, knees apart, in the butterfly we had at the very beginning. So I suggest you have again a bit of space between your feet and your chest. Catch your shins, lift up through the spine, and then invite your upper body to fold over. And this can be a very, very passive position with the palms maybe flipping up, the head dropping, or you can catch your toes. You can use your elbows as well against your thighs to take an extra opening. Always, always being aware of the fact that hormones that relax our ligaments and joints may make the position already quite open and supple. So some of us may want to contain the shape rather than pressing against it. If you're using your blocks, you can place them onto your feet. You can use them any way you like to support your body. And we're going to close today in about a minute of folding to relax the spine, to absorb any information from the body, and to shift our nervous system into a calmer state. And try and soften your jaw. Softening the jaw will help the pelvic floor soften, which is a skill we need to learn and practice constantly. So every time you exhale, feel that your tension from the neck, throat, and face can dissolve a bit more. And the same way, the space between your sit bones, pubic bone, and tailbone can widen. And when you're ready, slowly make your way all the way back and up. You have the option, if it feels safe and comfortable for you, to lay on your back and take your Shavasana on your back. Maybe you want to take yourself with your legs wide, one hand on your belly, one on your chest. If laying on your back makes you feel dizzy or you're at a stage where it's not indicated anymore, you can choose to move over to one side and maybe create a pillow for your head with a cushion, with your blocks, with your elbow, and rest. And instead, if you prefer to come up and seated or stay seated, maybe lay with your back against the wall. This could be your final contemplation pose. Take your time to acknowledge your work, not only the work in the practice, but the incredible work your body is doing right now. When you breathe in, allow your belly to expand. When you breathe out, allow any unnecessary tension to drop. And take one more full breath where you are. and exhale completely. I encourage you to stay in this space of relaxation, awareness, and contemplation as long as you can. In the meantime, I am saying goodbye. Thank you very much for practicing with me, and I will see you very soon. Thank you.